Hello, it's 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Time for the AquaStax hour with me, Long Steve, again. I see someone's already joined the room today. Hi, you a lot. Good to see you. Definitely keen, starting before I did today. I had a bit of an issue with my bathroom. I'd forgotten that our toilet system had stopped flushing properly, so I had to fix something up before I came and did the stream today. Right. So I've also tweaked my settings a bit on the streaming. I've got a new microphone and I have adjusted the levels a little bit and also got a noise filter on. So hopefully when my Mac starts the fan spinning up, because it gets a bit hot, there won't be too much background noise going on. Also, do let me know if you can't hear me very well or anything goes wrong with the audio. These things can often break when you try them live. So where was I? Last week I had got a block dropping down the screen. Let's start up my GOP task and check Chrome. There we are. Reload again. Is it going to come? There. Aha. Right. Block is dropping down the screen. I can move it around with the keys. Can I speed it up? Yes, I can speed it up by pressing the down arrow. There we go. There's only one block at the moment. It doesn't do much more than that. I also think it runs off the edge of the playing area. Yes, yeah, it moves around. I can hold the key down, key repeat works, and we drop it. So, this week I'm going to increase the block functions a bit. I've just noticed there's some text at the bottom of my screen. I added a bit of a hint, the fact that you can follow me and rate me in the chat window, and you'll get some fireworks and your name popping up. Oh, hi Rex2, good to see you. I might turn that off my stream actually, because it's now overlapping the text at the bottom of the screen. Never mind, I'll need a blank space for that. I might leave it for now. If anybody complains about it, then I'll take it off. I think you can just about read it. You can also follow me on Twitter as well. So, I need to remind myself of my triangle drawing code that I used in my old game. What I've done so far is I've used triangle type 0, 1, 2, and 3 to mean different triangle shapes, different orientations of the triangle. And what I want to do is remind myself of what I did in the old game, just to make sure I get them the same. That way, when I'm looking at bits of old code, I can use this. I can reuse some old code if I need to, or I can just not confuse myself too much. So my the drawing routines, I think, were in AquaStax Canvas, and I had API draw triangle. Here we are. So I called them triangle types 1, 2, 3, and 4 because effectively triangle type 0 is no triangle at all. So there's nothing in the grid if you have a 0 in the cell position. So I'm just going to change these around to make them the right way. Let's just make that half screen. So my block, triangle type 1, is that one. Let's see. Triangle type 2 is that one. I may actually have just got these the right way around by luck. Triangle type 3, oh yeah, look at that, looks like I did. And triangle type 4. Okay, so there was also, I was looking at my old drawing code here, and we'll see what I did. So it looks like I stored the, let's leave that for now. I stored the coordinates to draw them in an array, and I used, so I would pass in tile rotation is tile index shifted up by 16 bits, or with triangle type. So that was just using a single parameter to mean two things, and I think that was probably how I stored the triangles within the grid object as well. So we're going to be doing a bit of that at some point. Effectively, you can have 2 triangles per grid cell. So if you have a triangle index, which is going to, sorry, a tile index. What does that mean, tile index? Can't remember now. It's possibly something to do with the the types of tiles that I had. So I draw triangles as the base unit, and I think I called the blocks tiles. There we go. Oh, somebody new. Oh, it's live coding TV support. Good to see you. So I definitely called them tiles, and I think I had a different set of tiles. So what we could do is we could figure out the tiles that we're going to be using at the end of the day and code those up as well. So if I had a block, there were a number of different blocks, tiles, and they're all different shapes and sizes. Let's see if I can remind myself of what the shapes were as well, and draw different, because at the moment all we've got is a single block. We've just got, there we are, just got a square block made of 2 triangles. Let's make some different shaped blocks now. And if I get the shapes right, they should match my old code. I'm going to find my old, where will they be? I think what I did was I described them in the script. Actually, the block shapes, or the tile shapes, weren't hard coded because I left it up to the designers to choose whatever shapes they wanted. So let's go into the scripts. Here we are, yeah. Menu blocks, maybe. I'll use this one actually, AquaStax. I don't know why it's called AquaStax 2. Here we are. Here's where I define these tiles. And I have ARGB colors. Grid size I think is 2x2. They're all 2x2 effectively, although some of them are smaller actual tiles. And here's the grid data. So for example, that's going to be 0, 4. So that's 2 triangles per grid cell. The first triangle is going to be empty because it's a 0, and the second triangle will be a type 4. Then we've got an empty triangle, then we've got a 3 and a 1, and then an empty triangle. And I suspect they were laid out in rows of 2. Yeah, so that will be the top row, that'll be the bottom row. So let's see if I can plug this into my new code and get a particular tile of type 0 being drawn. So what I want to do is I want to create a draw tile. I've called it draw block. I'm going to change it to draw tile. Position X and Y, and let's see, we want the data for the tile. Actually, no, we don't. We want the tile number, which is going to be the same as what I used to use here. So tile 0, tile 1, tile 2. So I'll just call it N for now. I'm going to hard code this into the code for the minute. I'm not going to worry too much about the scripting and things. Once I've got all the functionality working, I can then extract that into a way of scripting it, if I even need to. Seeing as there's not going to be any designers doing it this time, it's just going to be me. The idea of using a scripting language in the old days was that I'd write all the code, and then the designers would take it away and do what they like with it. Hi Rex, I'm good, thanks you. Thanks very much for asking. Don't forget my bot, Tim Havers, is here as well. Oh. Hi Seeker07, good to see you. He's going to be greeting everybody as they come in. I haven't extended his functionality much this week. I fixed a couple of bugs from last week. I think he won't spam now if anyone comes and goes constantly. And also you have to join the room and stay in for a few seconds. If people come and go quickly, then they won't get their faces popped up on the screen. Oh, hi Merlin86. Merlin86 stayed just long enough for the screen to flash up. His icon, or even her icon. Right, so where was I? I'm going to be drawing different tiles. So let's have an array of our tile data, and I could use a 2-dimensional array, or actually I'll go for old school and do a 1-dimensional array. So tile data is going to be this for tile of type 0. And in order to decode that, I want to take each nibble, each 4 bits, and turn it into a triangle. Actually, we want the other bits as well. Grid size of 2, I think almost everything is going to be grid size of 2, but actually the anchors, colors will be useful. Definitely keep those as well. So let's go with color. We've got, I'm going to leave anchor X and anchor Y, so that's the position it's drawn. So 0, 0, 0, 0. I will also love the part with the profile pic. Thanks. It's all my own work. Actually, check out my GitHub page, Long Steve on GitHub. All the source code for it is in there. He's going to be expanded over the weeks as I do more things. Next, I might get some sound effects in, and then do all sorts of good stuff. So, is it a 3D puzzle game? No, I'm not making a 3D puzzle game, Rex. It's a 2D puzzle game. Let me just bring up an old animated GIF that I had. I still got it there. No. If you look on the Live Coding TV page, you'll see a little animation of it. There it is. That didn't work. Why does that not drag and drop? Let me do open with Safari. There we go. So, as you can see, the blocks drop down. It's all pretty old school, low resolution. It was for a mobile phone, but I'm remaking it for modern PC-sized screens. I may even do a mobile version as well. Because Cocos2d-JS, the framework I'm using, is going to support all the different devices. Right. So yeah, the bot I've been writing, I've called him Tim, and actually for some reason I called the project CodeStream Guard. Not sure why. I thought I might need him to do profanity filtering on the chat and boot anybody out that started swearing. But luckily everyone's been pretty friendly so far, so no one's been doing that. So let's. Oh, and cheers for the follow as well. Thank you very much. You should see a nice bit of animation any minute now. I've got a second monitor over here that tells me when people follow, and Tim the bot, he checks about every 15 seconds, I think it is. Is he going to work? Here it comes, new follower. Hey, get some fireworks. Right. So where was I? I was looking at grid sizings, and let's just remind myself what this is going to be. ARGB color, anchor X, anchor Y, and then grid data or tile data, I don't know. Welcome. Trouble with welcoming everybody with interesting names and chat windows is I have to stare carefully and pronounce people's names. Some cool icons coming up though. Good to see you all. And I've got my grid size. I will put grid size in there as well because it might come in useful if it gets changed later. The grid size. So that's going to be anchor 0, 0, grid size of 2, so 2 by 2, they're all square. And then grid data, which is the actual triangle information. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 elements per tile. I'll put the other ones in a bit later. Right. So let's see, what do I need to do to decode that? So if I'm drawing a tile of type 0, I want to, what I want to know is the block size. I have block size, that's good. Let's draw triangle, and draw triangle takes an X and a Y. So actually I need to loop over the 4 entries in the array, the last 4 entries, don't I? So for I equals 0, I is less than 4 plus, and I want for try equals, actually it's 2 triangles, so tries equals tile data, and here we've got n, and it's going to be n times 8 because each one of these is going to have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each one of those is going to have 8 elements in it, and plus I, so that's going to be these last 4. Then I might as well just do it all longhand for now. Bar T1 equals tries shifted down. Welcome Adia, good to see you. It's quite cool. I discovered by watching my stream back that when somebody new joins the room, their icon pops up on my right hand monitor, so I can see it, and that's where Obs picks it up from to stick it on the stream. So I look over to my right, and in the little camera view of my face, there's me looking to the same place where the icon that you're seeing pops up. So it kind of looks like I'm seeing the people as they come in. Okay. Oh, and Wargog as well. Oh, some really cool icons today. So try shifted down by 4 bits, and I'm going to do and 0xf on that as well, and then T2 is not going to be shifted down at all, it's just going to be the lower 4 bits. Right, and then we want to draw try. So actually we should be setting the color as well now, shouldn't we? Ah, thanks for the follow, Rex2, excellent. Much appreciated. I probably want to change my coloring so I don't use ARGB. I could use this, like these values. This is drawing the triangle. We'll do that in a minute. I'll get the shapes first, then I'll get the colors. So, draw triangle XY. So this is the top left triangle actually, isn't it? I'm drawing. So we want to get the X offset and Y offset as well. So var dx equals 0, var dy equals 0, x plus dx, y plus dy, and the type is going to be t1. And then, of course, if t1 does not equal 0, then we draw it. And we do the same for t2. So this will hopefully just give us one triangle at the moment. In fact, if I do that, let's see what it will do. It should give us a type 4 triangle, which will look like that. No, it hasn't done anything yet, so we're going to be debugging. Where's the tool? There we are, tools. Draw block is not defined. Did I call it the wrong thing? Oh no, it's draw tile, isn't it? Draw tile 0, 0 and of type 0 for now. So what's going on? Can I see anything at all? Not yet. Dx dy, x and y. Draw polygon triangle 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's debug that and see what it's doing. Now, last time I did this, no, that's view source. What about that? I'm trying to oh no, that's starting up Exchange. Maybe it's that. I'm thinking there's a hotkey to start the developer tools. It should be thingy I. So I'm not a Mac developer. I haven't used a Mac long enough that I know what those symbols mean. I can look at my Mac keyboard I've got down here. It looks like it's Alt Command I, but I'm using a PC keyboard, so it could be anything. Depends what it's mapped to. I'm also using a PC keyboard attached to a PC and shared with my Mac using Synergy. Let's try that again. Control Alt I maybe? No, Alt Command I. Yeah, and it doesn't work at all because oh, that worked. So it's Alt Command I, and it doesn't work if I'm hovering, if I've got the mouse focused on my game or the internal window of the browser, because it's obviously, that's probably passing the keyboard events into the JavaScript code. But if I click on the title bar area, hit that, does it work? No, it's not going to work. Maybe if I click there. Yes, that worked. So I click on the browser URL bar and then press it. Sorry about this, guys. It must be really boring. We should be trying to figure out how to use Chrome. There it is. Right. You don't always want the debug tools up because it makes the window so small. So let's just see what's going on here. There we go. Tile data n times 8 plus I. So tries it's going to be, well, I'm expecting it to be 4. Not that. Oh, of course, it's not I, it's it would be I if I went from 4 to 8, wouldn't it? Let's just do 4 to 5 for a minute. There it is. So now I've got my one triangle being drawn. I'll leave it moving down. Don't want to waste too much time. So now let's draw two triangles, or let's draw all of the 4 to 8 of that angle. All I can do is 0 to 4, and welcome Abdullah, good to see you. And I'm going to do plus, so it's n times 8, which gives me the row in the array, plus 4 plus I. That's what I want, and then hopefully this will draw two triangles, or two blocks, but they'll all be overlapping, won't they? Yes, there they are, all overlapping. So I need to adjust the, try with F12, it should work. Oh, okay, so F12. No, F12 didn't do anything. F12. F12. No, it's obviously configured differently on my Mac than other people. I'm pretty sure I did. So now I've figured it out, I can remember that. Also, let's just see if single stepping works. Because last time I tried this, I think F10 was configured on my Mac to switch virtual desktops, but I tweaked it. So now F10 should single step through the code. Yes, it does, right. And with any luck, I think F11 is step in. So if I go to draw triangle, F11, that jumps in, yeah. And I think Shift F11 will jump out. Yes, it does, great. Right, so I am needing to adjust dx and dy to get the positions, and we have block size, which I think is the size of a block. So to start with, we want dx is going to be, so it's the top row first, so dy is going to be, in this case it's going to be dy is going to be equal to I, and it's going to be I mod, is it going to be I mod 2? Or is it going to be I divided by 2? It might be I divided by 2 actually. By 2. I divided by 2 times block size. Let's just see what that does. I is going to be, yeah. So that draws, yes, that draws them like that. And the dx parameter is going to be dx equals, that's probably going to be I mod 2, because we want left, right, yeah. Oop. Control, save. So, that's close. Doesn't look like it's tweaking the X. Let's just have a look at that. Somebody new, Paul Odin, good to see it. Hopefully you can hear me today. I've tweaked my sound settings a little bit. I've added a noise filter so that hopefully the fan spinning on my Mac, as you can see, it's 94 degrees C in my study here. At least it's not 94 degrees C in the study. My Mac is running at 94 degrees C because it's got a bunch of stuff going in the background. And the fan spins up. And my old webcam mic picks it up a bit. But now I've got a new mic and a bit of filtering going on. So hopefully the keyboard noise isn't too loud either. So that's, maybe it wasn't top row, bottom row. That makes, if that's top row, that's going to be a 4 triangle, so it's going to be pointing up, and a 3-1. 3-1 should make a square. So yeah, 3-1 makes a square. I bet it's the other way around. It's bottom row, that's top row, and that's bottom row. So the top row is going to be I divided by 2 times blocks. So it's going to be 4 minus I, isn't it? It's going to be the inverse of that. So what we want is 4 minus I. There it is. Now we've got a pointy block. Excellent. So that was, I seem to remember that was one of the original blocks I used to have. What I'll do eventually is get rid of all the triangle outlines and then draw an outline around the entire polygon. Probably optimize the polygon drawing as well, but I'm not going to worry about that for a while yet. So that's one of the blocks I used to have. Excellent. Of course, it's drawn. Offsets are a little bit different now as well, aren't they? What does the offset say? It should be anchored 0, 0. And it's going to draw dy. It should sit on. It shouldn't sit on the bottom like that. It should sit directly on the bottom of the screen. Let's see what's going on there. Have a sip of tea first. Nobody's rated me yet. I don't know if you can read the text at the bottom of the screen, but it says, offer me a rating if you like what you're watching. Type exclamation mark rate and then a number in the chat window, and I'll get a rating. So the rating gets saved and is averaged between different people. So you can do it multiple times, but it will only remember the last time you did it. I've been trying to solicit some feedback, just you know, just for a bit of fun. So where was I? I was figuring out why the block doesn't land. Maybe the dy is too much. Maybe it's 4 minus I. I suppose I could check what values it's coming in as. So the first block is going to be the 4. So that's the solid block, which should be, no, that's the pointy block at the top row. So block size here is 50. So dy is 100. No, that's not right. Dy needs to be 50. Why have I got that wrong then? So 0, is it 2 minus? I goes from 0 to 3. So that's basically, it goes 4, 3, 2, 1, divide by 2, do a bit of programming by trial and error, I guess. It should probably be, it looks like 2 minus will work, but no, that'll be absolute, won't it? I know what it is. It's I divided by 2. And what I want is 2 minus that. There it is. Let's see if it lands on the bottom of the screen now. Oh, it still doesn't. Oh, how annoying. That's going to be 4. That's going to be 2. Is that going to be 1? Maybe it's, if I'm lucky, it's 1 minus, and then it'll just work. Yeah, look at that, perfect. I'm sure it'll go wrong a bit later. I could make the down arrow do a rotate at some point, couldn't I? So now let's get the rest of our blocks in. So go back to my old scripting code and paste in the next block. I keep missing people arriving. Hi, thanks for joining me today. The names don't come up quick enough. And now there's enough people in the room that I don't recognize who's new and who's been around. So anchor 1, 0. I've got to I'll probably have to figure out the anchor points and what they mean in a minute. Add those into the calculations, and then we've got this one I'm looking at. So this one, what does this look like it's going to be? It's going to be a 3. So that's the top left of the 2x2 cell that we're looking at. We're making tiles out of 2x2 cells. So that's a 3, which is pointed down. Then a 31, which is a square. And then we've got a blank, and then a 31. So it's 2 squares. 2 squares, difficult to draw it. 2 squares with a pointy bit on the bottom left. So let's see if that works. Let's draw triangle number 2. It's actually 0, it's actually number 1. Ah, almost. This is where my maths is wrong. I'm trying to be clever and calculate the dx and dy based off of just the single integer, but it's probably not working right. Let's see, so it's going to be a 3 and a 31. So we've got two 31s, which are definitely two solid squares, but we should also have a 3 as well. So let's I mod 2. What's that going to give us? I've got the mod and the divide run the wrong way, haven't I? Expect. So this mod is going to start by giving us a dx of 0, which is again what I'd expect. Let's continue. The next one is 1, so 1 mod 2 is 1. Then we've got, oh, I know what it is, I haven't done times block size. Schoolboy error. Right. Ah, that's close. Is that what I was expecting? It was definitely 2 blocks and 1 half triangle, one half block. So it's definitely, so 4, actually, oh yeah, 0.4 is the upper, is the first one. So that, and then, so that's the left hand, that's top left, that's top right, that's bottom left and bottom right. So top left is a 3, which is going to be that, yep, that one there. I'm pointing, you can't see where I'm pointing very easily, but I'm pointing at the little half tile in the top left. And then we've got 2 solid ones on the right. Okay, so that's working pretty well. Let's get the next ones in, then we'll look at the colouring, I suspect. Ooh, to go between my I keep thinking it's between windows, but it's not, it's between tabs within Slick Edit. So anchor is 0, 0. 2 is the same as it, they're all going to be 2s. Right. Let's see what tile type number 2 gives us. Ah, that's the good old L-shaped one. We like them. They're really easy to make things out of, right? If I remember rightly, that's a somewhat purpley colour. Let's line these up nicely. So the next one down is going to be this one. What's its anchor point? The anchor point is so that the rotation, I seem to remember the anchor point is so that when it rotates, it looks like it's going around the right place. Oh, there's a plane going over. I've left my windows open today, but hopefully my mic settings mean the plane won't be too noisy. I'll watch the stream back a bit later on. So we were doing -1, -1 on the anchor point on this one. Yeah. I'm going to have to relay out my columns. And then just a 31. Ah, this is a little tiny triangle. I remember that one. Right. So it's just a 31. So -1, -1. Actually, that's grid size of 1. Ah, cool. And 31. So I'm going to actually have to take into account the grid size in some of these. Let's put these in as 0s for now. I'll do that so it lines up nicely. I can put a 0 in there, can't I? And I suppose these are going to be 0.4 and 0.3. Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier to understand that you're looking at two separate nibbles. Ah, Rex 2's come back. Good to see you again. So this little tiny one, 1, 2, 3, it's number 3. So it's a solid block. What have I done there? Oh, 31. Oh, yeah, okay, no, that's a 31 is a solid block by itself. Yes, I do remember that one. There is an individual triangle by itself somewhere as well. Let's see. It might be... I can't seem to see it at the moment. It'll appear a bit later. Let's carry on doing the other ones. If I just copy this in, I won't have to switch between the tabs too much. So we want color, anchor 1, 1, grid size 2, and then this lot. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're up to. Not too many more to go. Just doing it slowly so I don't get ahead of myself. Yeah, I remember that shape block. The point of the pointy monitors. Sorry, the pointy monitors. I'm reading the text. I have 33 monitors. No, I have 3 monitors. Not 33, but yes, I've got a number of machines. I've got a PC, which is displaying on this monitor, and it's using Synergy, the monitor and keyboard. It's actually a keyboard and mouse sharing software to share the mouse. So I can move my mouse off to my left here, move my PC window, which is just a web browser looking at my router bandwidth, and then I can move it onto my Mac, which is connected to these 2 monitors. But also, both PC and Mac are connected to other ones, so I can flip the monitor inputs to get 3 on each if I want to. And I use Ultramon to decide whether or not to use 1, 2, or 3 monitors. Ultramon is really good as well. Anyway, I was doing the pointy things. So these pointy things, when they land, can break other blocks. So that was the point of the point of the triangular pointy blocks. Anyway, so the next one is going to be. So where were we? I've now lost complete track. I was using the one that was 6CB5, which is that one. So this is the next one. Actually, why don't I just copy all 3 of these that are left? Do all in one go. Color, anchor X. Oh, anchor 1, 2. So back in the day, I wrote this scripting language, and I used. So all the code was originally written in Java for mobile phones, and I wrote the scripting language that allowed the blocks to be defined. It allowed the levels, the enemies, all sorts of things, and it was all parsed and processed and then turned into byte arrays, because on the mobile phones we didn't have huge amounts of space, so all the data was just compressed into arrays, saved as resources, and then loaded at runtime. Now I'm probably not going to worry too much about the scripting, because modern systems, I can just code everything in JavaScript, and the interpreting of the script, I might leave the script in and I might write an interpreter in JavaScript. That'd be pretty good. If I don't do that, I'll just use JavaScript as the script. Because at runtime on mobile phones you couldn't actually do the script interpreting. That's why everything was binary and turned into nice and quick code. So, there we go. So this is 4.1. Is that a this might be a little tiny pointy one. Yes. Right. Right, so that's the data for all our blocks. I might as well just try and draw them all now, can't I? So let's do for. Have I got X and Y? I probably already have. Oh, no, not yet. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. And we'll draw them at X times 2 times block size. And we'll draw type of X. Let's just see. That's great. Block, unexpected token, block line 93. Oh, I forgot to close the curly braces. Slick Edit usually does that for me. Surprised that broke. X plus plus, X is less than 8. Draw tile, X times 2 times block size. Not going nuts here. I'm getting into an infinite loop somewhere, am I? Oh, still in the debugger. There we go. Here they all come. Right. Actually, if I do block size times 3, then I'll be able to see them separated because they're all effectively 2x2s. Yay, we've got them all. Right, so these are all the blocks that I had in my original AquaStax game. Different shapes, different sizes. There's the really triangular pointy one. Now I should take into account the anchor points, and that will let me draw them. So that will probably end up allowing that one to be drawn level with the bottom of the screen or the bottom of the grid. So that anchor points -1, -1, and basically it's just going to be a case of drawing the offsetting the draw position by the anchor, but also we're going to take into account that anchor when rotating, but I won't worry about the rotation just yet. I'll put the colors in first. So let's just do anchor X equals tile data. We've got n times 8. Actually, this is up here, isn't it? Yeah. N times 8 plus 1. And anchor Y is plus 2. And since they're actually just in units, I want to multiply them by block size. And then we just add anchor X and Y whenever we draw anything. I think that's going to work. Plus anchor X and plus anchor Y. Right, let's see what that does. So that's drawn. Ooh, that's kind of made it all a bit weird. What am I doing there? Ooh. So maybe that's not quite right then. Let's see. That's 0, that's 1, that's 2, that's grid size. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, 0. Maybe we'll do it one block at a time. So the most of them seemed okay. So let's find one that doesn't have an anchor, or that does have an anchor. So this this second block in has 1, 0. Ah, welcome, Mad Solanden, if that's how you pronounce your name. I have no idea. I'm going to show you guys what happens when you rate me, because I can rate myself, and if I give myself 100, then you see the fireworks. Look at that. That's my animation that the bot does. If anybody rates me less than that now, then the rating will go down. I can also give myself a 0 rating, and that will make everybody's rating halve. So actually what I might do is I'll just give myself a 50 rating, and we'll leave it at 50 for me, and see if anybody else likes to rate me. Then I'll look at what the thing is at the end of the day, what the rating is at the end of the stream. So I want an anchor point that's not 0, 0. So this second block has 1 on the X and 0 on the Y. So that should, let's just test this out and make sure everything's back at 0, 0. So this second block is anchored 0, -1. So what that kind of says to me is the center point. So if you're drawing it, say I was drawing it at bottom left, then it should. So that's where we would be drawing. If I was drawing it at 0, 0, it would appear there. But if I was drawing it at -1, 0 in terms of blocks, it should just be like that. So let's tell you what I'll do. I will I'll just draw these, whichever block I want, and I'll also get rid of the moving and draw the tile at the 0, 0 position on the screen, and we can see exactly where the drawing is going to occur. X equals, it was the second block in, wasn't it? So yeah, it's just this one, and let's get rid of the movement for a moment. So this is moving down, moving blocks, so I will ditch this for a minute and just draw the block, or add it to, if I add it to 0, 0, so block.setPosition 0, 0, hopefully that will appear at the bottom left of the game grid. Well, it's not bottom left. Let's see, what have I done wrong there? Game panel. Oh, Tommy 11, good to see it. Right. If I do the first one again, then it will hopefully draw that 0, 0. Yeah, so that's drawn at 0, 0, which is there. So the second one I want to draw, in fact I can put this back in now because I'm testing this particular bit of code. So that first block, 0, 0, appears there, right? So the second block is anchored X and Y at 1, 0. So the drawing is multiplied it by, it's moved it right over. That shouldn't be the case. What's going on there? Tile data n times 8 plus 2 times block size. So it should definitely be 0 and block size. So that's all it's going to move it across. It should just be moving it across block size. For some reason it's moving it a bit further than that. Ooh. Me moving the mouse, I could just do FLR to reload. Right. So anchor Y is 0, yeah, anchor X is 50, that's what I would expect. So what are we doing here? We're adding anchor X to each draw, which is just adding 50 to it. So it should just add 50 to the X position of each of the triangles it's drawing. But it ends up being a bit more than that by the looks of it. Oh, where am I going? Yeah, it's definitely drawing more than 50. Time for a sip of tea. Usually a cup of tea will fix my brain. Also, it's just occurred to me that the anchor, although the offset is 50, sorry, the anchor point is 1, 0. What that means is I want to subtract that times the block size in order to make the block drawn at 0, 0, or wherever the block is drawn, make that anchor point that position. So I should be subtracting so that's put it back 1, but it's not. Definitely hasn't been block size. Block size is 50. 0. Am I getting the wrong numbers? No, it's definitely 1 and 2. Very confusing. I'll leave that for now. I'll come back to it a bit later on once I've got the colours in place. That will probably allow me to pedantic there, putting lowercase. That'll probably just let me oh, actually I'm drawing it at 3 times block size. That's a bit silly, isn't it? That'll explain why the block shifted across, isn't it? It's not at 0, 0. I actually want to draw it at 0, 0. X equals 1. We were drawing the second block, weren't we? I'll get better at this. What I'm trying to do is vocalize my thoughts as I'm doing this stuff, so there's a bit of chat going on. But obviously, I'm confusing myself, or I'm just getting a bit flustered at points. That's better. That's drawn at 0, 0 with the anchor point in the middle bottom, as I would expect. So let's just go through these other ones and make sure they're drawn correct. There's an interesting one up here that has an anchor point that's negative. So we'll see what that does. So that draws that block there. Lovely. The next one along is the negative one, isn't it? So, ooh, that sticks up there. I would expect that to be right in the corner, but for some reason it's not. Let's see. It's going to be negative, so it's going to be adding the values to, isn't it? Without an anchor point, where does it put it? That block is going to be top left. See, what I could do is just draw it in the bottom left. But the anchor point is supposed to offset that. So the anchor point of -1 should shift it back, and it should be drawn just actually to the left of that 0, 0 position. Not sure why it isn't yet. -1, -1, and 1. Ah, grid size is 1. I've got to take into account the grid size. So that actually means that -1, -1 is right. So it's changed. The grid size of 1 makes that a bit different, doesn't it? Why would I not want that as a grid size of 2? Oh, I know, because if it's a grid size of 2, when I rotate the block, it's going to shift around the 4 quarters of the square, the 2 by 2 square. So it has to be grid size of 1, because obviously rotating the square block isn't going to do anything. It's going to stay in the same place. But if it was drawn with the grid, if the code assumes it's got a grid size of 2 by 2 and there's a single block built into it, then it's going to rotate around the center point of that. So what I need to do is take into account grid size when drawing the dx and dy, but that's just going to draw it in the top left. So that's assuming it's 2 by 2. Is it just a case of changing those 2's to grid size? I wonder if it is. That way we'll end up with 1 minus 1, so that dy will be 0, dx will probably be something. I'll stick it in and we'll see what happens. So we've got grid size. So this is going to be 0, 1, 2, and 3. We used to do this a lot. I mean, I could make this a bit more easier to read by defining a structure, an array of objects, or something like that. But we didn't used to use arrays of objects in old mobile phone code. We would literally use arrays of integers, and all of the information that you want to use is encoded in the integers. So here I'm actually encoding 2 triangles into a single byte. Actually, it's 2 bytes. Actually, no, it's 1 byte. It's 2 nibbles. Whereas I could just make it a lot easier, but then I'd write like so many more lines of code, and it wouldn't be like my old code then. Although I don't want to make it all like my own code, but some bits I quite like, and it's quite fun fiddling around with all these numbers. It looks cool that you're using a bit of maths to work out things rather than just basically hard coding everything. So let's go with grid size in here, and also in here. I wonder if that's going to work. Welcome, Haas. Good to see you. So that hasn't really moved it, has it? Let's see, grid size. It should have given me a dx and dy of 0, 0 at this point. I'm going to test it to see if it is. And somebody new, Links. Welcome. I'm reading names quickly, so double N for Links. I just want to check grid size. Dx and dy here, don't I? So dx and dy is 0, and dy is 50. Is that right? It's not really, is it? So what have I got? So that's going to be 0. It's going to be 1 times block size. I wonder if it's grid size minus 1. That'll probably work, won't it? Because I want it to be 0, 0, and all the other ones I want to be 1. So let's just do grid size minus 1. Minus 1. It's kind of trial and error this, but I'll try and figure out to make sure it works. Oh, no, that didn't work at all. Did I get it wrong? Grid size minus 1 times block size. So that's going to end up with 1 on all the other ones, but 0 should be 0. A bit further down onto the debug. So now we've got dy2554. What's going on here? Grid size of 50. Why did that say grid size of 50? Oh, I've multiplied grid size by block size. Ah, right. So let's do that. Do I need grid size multiplied by block size? I don't, do I really? Yes, that was just a copy and paste bug. Let's refresh. Delete that, carry on. There it is. So it's definitely now drawn a bit less further away than it should be. And the anchor point. So at this point, dx dy should be 0. I'm expecting the anchor points to be -1, -1. So let's just break in here and have another look. So dx is 0, dy is 0. Anchor x is -50. Anchor y is -50, that's what I'd be expecting. And we're coming into the thing we're drawing is a 31, and it's in what I think I worked out as is the top left position. Yeah, so it should draw that minus the anchor. Where's it going to draw it? It's going to draw it t1 is 3, so it's going to draw it. Yeah, it's always going to be 0. And then -50. So why is it not drawing it in the all the rest is 0? So these will skip, won't they? Actually, I should do the 0 skip out of the loop early, but it doesn't matter at the moment. So this is I'm expecting this to be drawn -1, -1. But it's not. Let's see what else I'm missing. I've probably got something else wrong here. Anchor point is definitely times by block size. Grid size we're using in here. Anchor x, anchor y, anchor y. I don't suppose. Oh, I'm subtracting it, aren't I? Maybe I'm supposed to add it. I probably got the wrong fix for a bug earlier. Yeah, that's where I'm expecting it to be drawn. Off the bottom of the screen. Yeah, you can just about see it. It's off the bottom there. Let's try drawing all these at 1 block size. Block size. There. So they all. If I draw like block number 1 again now, it'll be drawn 1 level off the top of the screen. Yeah, but it's not adding the anchor points in. Draw them all, see what happens. It's going to be x times block size. Ooh, they're all over the place. So that one's alright. Except it's a bit too high up. Right. What else can I do? Let's not worry too much about that. That's just going to confuse me. I'll try and figure out what the problem is, drawing those blocks in the right place a bit later on. I'm also probably jumping ahead of myself, and I need to go back and look at the old code and figure out exactly how I rendered those blocks. What we could do is just have one coming down the screen again. Essentially, it just needs to land on the bottom. If it lands on the bottom, I'd be happy with it. Let's go back to do that. So X is not defined. Where did I miss? Oh, create block. So let's just start with block 0 and see it land on the bottom of the screen. Did I miss something out? Oh, I need to do that. I did a overwrite of the variable. So it's coming down and it lands on the bottom of the screen. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Let's see what happens with block number 2 or index number 1. So this is coming down and that lands on the bottom of the screen as well. That's exactly what I'd like it to do. But it's not drawn in the right place, but it's close. So if I shift it all the way to the left, what I want to do is limit the positioning. Number 2, this one should land there, yeah. Number 3, adjust my posture. So this is the little one. Oh, it disappears off, so it lands underneath. I think it will have stopped just below the line there. So that's not working quite right yet. Block number 4. So it's this one with the negative. See, that one's hanging off the top of the screen. So that's got 1, 1. That's got 1 on the Y. Maybe I've missed something. Maybe it's the Y coordinate that I'm missing somewhere. Anchor Y. No, I've got anchors, DYs all stuck in there. But maybe I'm missing grid size. Let's go. Let's just try the other ones and see. 4, 5. What's this one? This one I suspect will land. Oh, this one's landing too high as well. I haven't missed any parameters. Not parameters. I haven't missed anything off the thing. No. Okay, let's do 6. That one's too high. So some of them work and some of them aren't. Okay. I'll not beat myself up too much over that. Let's see if we can get some colours in. Had the hour today. Done a little bit more. I've got different blocks in the game now. They're still moving. They're not rotating yet. Maybe I'll think about rotation next time. Wow, thanks everyone for hanging around and watching me this afternoon. There's quite a few of you joined now. Any ratings, greatly appreciated. Do type something into the chat window, just to rate me, if nothing else. That's all I need. The ratings don't do anything. They're just logged for my own purposes. If I show anybody my streams, I can go, look, people give me ratings. So let's just see if we can translate these colors. So I'm hoping that Cocos2d or cc.color will take a ARGB encoded into a 32-bit integer, and let's just do draw tile, add a color parameter to it for now, and it's going to be this is just going to be tile data times 8 plus 0. I can put plus 0 in for good measure. We'll add color in there, and let's take a color parameter, and let's see, will it just work if I do this? What am I looking at? That's white is going to be the outline, this is going to be the fill color, isn't it? No such luck. Generally, do you think game developers make money from games? Very good question. For the most part, indie developers, might make enough to live on. I like to think of myself as a professional game developer. I do this what I'm streaming here is just a bit of fun, just mainly for me learning about streaming. But I've written a lot of games over the years and been paid for doing it in various companies. I'm currently freelancing, and I'm doing freelance contract work for a couple of other companies, some games related. But I'm also looking at doing some indie games on the side. I don't expect to make a lot of money off them. I was only talking to some people last night, actually. We had a meeting in Southampton, where I live, and there was a lot of talk about finance and raising money to be able to make games. The reality is, there is probably only 3 or 4 developers. There aren't that many Rami Ismails or Notches who do indie games that make loads of money. But there are. You can earn a living, and the younger you start doing it, the less your living expenses and your general life costs. Well, sorry, the lower your general living expenses and life costs are. So, if you're young and you want to start making games, do it now. Don't wait till you're a bit older. That would be my advice. And if you make a few, don't go over the top. Don't spend years doing it. Don't have massively over ambitious ideas. Make a few games. It's really trivial, or not trivial, but it's really easy to put them on Steam. Sony and Microsoft have really open developer programs now. A few years ago, they were really closed, so that you had to jump through loads of hoops to get in them. But now they're very friendly to indie developers, especially Sony. No offense, Microsoft. Mobile devices or publishing yourself on the web, you can hook in your own payment systems or use Itch.io or something like that, and you'll get stuff on. You'll get paid, and there'll be a bit of money coming in. And if your living costs aren't too extravagant, you can live off that. Hi Santorinto, good to see you. What was I doing? Color is not defined. I'm British, so it's actually COLOUR. I probably typed the wrong word somewhere. CC.color. What am I missing here then? Oh, draw tile. That's in. I need draw tile to pass the color on to the draw triangle. There we go. I used to be really pedantic about making sure I wrote color in the British sense, like that, like that. But so many APIs and frameworks are written by people who are American, and they spell color like that I've now become less bothered by it. So I use the American spelling of color all over the place, just because it matches what the API does. Still not defined. Where did I miss it off? Oh, what am I doing? Actually, I don't need to pass the color in to draw tile, because the color is encoded in the type. So that works out the color. There it is, and passes it into draw triangle. See what I mean? So that's looks like it's transparent. Let's just double check the Cocos2d-X, Cocos2d-JS documentation about how to create color objects. cc.color. It's not going to be there, is it? Where is it? Will's look at it, tell me. cc.color. Hovering over the. Ah, there we go. So it seems to think it's RGBA. That's fine. Or color. I guess. Oh no. To convert a hex string to a color. That works. Oh, actually works as a hex string. That's interesting. Let's just try this. If this works, it'd be good. If not, I can just shift the the integers around and make them RGBA values. Hey, that looks like it's black with a bit of transpose. Ah, the grid's drawn on top. So the block's drawn probably in front of, so when we're drawing the grid, then we're drawing the block on top. Yeah, I would expect, two, and if I draw that 3, so the last parameter on add child is the Z order. There we go, we draw the block on top of the grid, so that's black. That doesn't look like black to me. Let's try a different one. Let's go for block 7. Let's go for block 0. That's black as well. Where's cc.color? There's that. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm passing cc.color. Is there a cc.color function? No? Almost ready to finish up today. I've had over the hour now. I'm just going to get these colors in. Make sure I remember the doc. So color is just literally just that, isn't it? RGBA. And I'm using cc.color in lowercase. Why is that not a function? Constants. Here we go. cc.color. So generate a color object based on multiple forms of parameters. So you can all channel separately. Convert a hex string to color. With a hash. So it's a making it like it's HTML. So I'm going to do that. Luckily, can I do that? You have mixed. Yeah, I guess you can have objects in. I'm guessing you can have objects in arrays that aren't the same type. JavaScript. Didn't even occur to me that that doesn't have to be an integer. You can have integers and strings. Yay, it's red. That's at least about right. Is it going to be? It's going to be. It's not going to be alpha, isn't it? That's what I want. Still red. That's good. I remember those blocks being red. Let's see if the other ones are the same. Which is my L-shaped block? Because they were purple. That's block number 0, 1, and 2. Yay, it's purple. So now you're doing color blocks, just so that I can convince myself they're all good. X times 2 times block size. Yeah, different color blocks, right? I'll be harsh. I will probably tweak those colors. One of the interesting things about using mobile phones back in the day was that the colors that you defined in your code were very rarely what you actually saw on the screen. The old LCD displays were so low quality that you had to use a lot brighter colors than you actually saw. If I go back to my animated GIF, that is probably slightly closer to what it was originally intended to be. No, not bad. I want Finder. There we go. Oh, and that doesn't work. I have to do open with Safari. So splashing, yeah. So there are the blocks that we originally had. So they are pretty bright colors, actually, pretty primary. There's the triangular one that's yellow. That one is. Ooh, back to Chrome. Oh, it's hiding on the bottom of the screen. There it is, yellow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up pretty soon, I think. I'll check this code in as it is, but then I might have a play around with it to fix it so that I can figure out what's going on and why the blocks aren't drawn exactly where I expect them to be drawn. I could spend hours doing that and it'd be a pretty boring stream, but if I figure it out, I will use the opportunity at the very beginning of next stream to let you guys know what was going on. Then I will, next week, I'll probably end up drawing those blocks without using triangles with borders around them, and then draw the outline of the block separately, so it's a nice solid outline. Then, having got the block data, so now I've got this block data, which is made up of nibbles, I can then start writing that data into the array which is behind the grid. So the grid is just going to be a single integer array, but once the block has dropped and landed, that data, so 31 for a solid square, or 1 or 3 for the points, 1 or 4 for example for the points, that can get installed into the grid and then rendered separately from the falling block. So then we can start landing things on blocks that are already positioned in the grid. Excellent. Right, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Thanks for hanging around, especially to a couple of you for watching the whole thing today. I believe Rex 2 was around for quite a long time. Much appreciated. Do follow me. Follow me on Twitter as well if you like. I'm LongSteve. Follow me on live coding so that you get notified when I stream. It's pretty regularly at Thursday at 3 o'clock. I would like to do some more streams, but paid work gets in the way. Also, check out the code for this in GitHub. Also, check out the code for my bot, Tim. If you like, that's also in GitHub. LongSteve on GitHub. Nobody's given me a rating. I'm going to do rate 75 just to make myself feel a bit more appreciated. I need to add a few more additional things into the chat so that you can have a bit more fun and just type something in. But maybe you're all watching on TVs or on iPads or something that where typing things into the chat window is a bit awkward. Okay, what I will do is I will actually commit this code now as I've got it. Come up with SmartGit. Ooh. Yeah, SlickEdit doesn't like to quit when it's got the gulp task running in the background. So let's see what we did. We changed a few things. Game to agile, that was just the Z order. I will commit this. So 8 types of block now available to use, drawn in different colors. Anchor point. Can't type properly. At that stream. Okay, commit that. Can I push to GitHub? With any luck, go. Yes, it's gone. Right. Need that anymore. Need that. Oh, this was me doing a bit of searching earlier on. Okay, thanks guys, much appreciated, and I will see you again soon. I will hang around in the chat for a little bit as well, just in case anybody has any more questions. Cheerio.